Fox 17 Rockin' Review is coming to you from Acme Feed and Seed, and we've got a special guest today, Harry Connick Jr. You know, so many awards, Harry. You've got Grammys, Emmys. You're going to be on the Walk of Fame. You know, that just came down.
How about that? I couldn't believe that.
And you've got your own TV show, Harry.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me. It really is nice to be back in Nashville. It's one of those places when I see that I'm going to Nashville, I always have a nice feeling because I've had nothing but great times here and loved performing here and love eating here and seeing the sights. It's really a great town. And I'm so happy to have my show, Harry. You know, we finished year one and we had, I can't even describe to you how much fun I had doing the show for the first year. And there are no guarantees in the entertainment business, but certainly not in syndication, because you just don't know whether you're going to get picked up. I mean, I like to think that we have viewers and people are enjoying the show, but you don't really know. And the first inclination that I had that we were being received well was we got 5 Emmy nominations, which was such a incredible honor for.
And that's in your first season.
That was amazing. And then we got asked to come back for year 2, because this is something I want to do for a long time. I get to play music, I get to meet incredible people, and I try to make people feel a little bit better in that hour, just to entertain them and uplift them. And so it's a real thrill for me.
Well, you know, I want to make mention to our viewers as well that your second season is going to be starting on Fox 17, weekdays at 3 p.m. on September 12th.
Yes, indeed.
And you've got a great contest going on right now, Harry, and I think you and the Stangl brothers kind of came up with this cool contest. Tell us about it.
Well, the Stangl brothers are incredibly talented writers and producers, and we came up with an idea called Do Re Mi, which is a musical competition. Now, the person entering the competition doesn't have to be musical at all. It's just sort of a backdrop for the prizes that they can win. And the Do prize is money, the Re prize is a tropical vacation, and the Mi prize is something that's super self-indulgent for the person competing. So if you go to harrytv.com throughout the month of August, you can see how to play, and we want you to nominate somebody that you want to be flown to New York and be treated to this great time in New York, come to the Harry Show and win one of these 3 prizes.
You know, I think it's so amazing too, Harry. We were talking earlier off camera to where, you know, your show, you've kind of taken a unique approach, not like any other daytime talk show or anything, to where besides being the executive producer, host, and music, to where you actually score the music for your band and you have your own band.
Right.
You've taken a very positive approach with the show to make it more family friendly.
I think it's important. You know, when you say family friendly, you know, maybe some images of, you know, Mr. Rogers get conjured up, which is great because I love Mr. Rogers. But there's enough tension, enough suspense, enough stuff built into our everyday society that we just want to do good work and make people feel better. We don't really want to get into politics. We don't really want to get into, it's hard enough just for, I mean, I have 3 daughters and 2 of them are teenagers. I mean, it's hard enough for folks just to get through their day and try their best to raise their kids without having to turn on the television in the middle of the day and seeing something that they may feel is inappropriate. I think it can be really funny. I think it can be deeply soulful and moving and inspirational. It can be really musical and really fun. It can be all of those things, and yet it can be appropriate for everybody to watch it.
Well, you know, and we were talking again earlier about how, you know, you had such great role models with your mother and father, you know, both working in law, and, you know, just very, you know, you have a lot of female fans.
Oh, that's nice.
And so, that's
I wish I had them in high school. They weren't anywhere to be found when I was looking for a date to my junior prom.
But it seems like with the show too that you have a lot of appeal for the female audience, and in fact some of the things you've done going in with women and going, hey, I'm going to take this. I'm going to help you out with the kids. I'm going to help you here.
Oh, so we do a segment called I Got This, and we had a few ideas, and these were very important to me. This was something I thought of that I didn't know if I'd be able to do it, and here's why. The idea was to show up at someone's house. Now they know that a TV crew is coming over. They're not sure what it's for. They think it's for a daytime show, and a lot of people think it's pretty cool to be on national television, so they'll say great, and I think they tell them we're doing a segment for the Harry Show or something, but I'm there, but I don't know who's on the other side of the door. I don't know their name, I don't know what they do for a living, I don't know anything about them, and that's the truth. It's so hard to believe that. People think it's all set up. It is not set up. So the people on the inside don't know that I'm coming. They think some producers are coming. So they set the cameras up and they're going to do a little interview, and I knock on the door, and it's been women usually, not usually, but a lot of times they've been single moms, 2 or 3 kids, you know, working 2 jobs. Just they need a break, man. It's just really tough. And I knock on the door and say, hey, I'm Harry, what's your name? And they say, oh, I'm Jane. And I said, well, you know, can I come in? And I talk to them, and over the course of the conversation, I find out what they do. And I'm usually sweating bullets because I know it's going to be something I have no idea how to do, like taking care of their kids, you know?
Right.
So, you know, one time it was a lady who taught, you know, kids how to ride horses for rodeos. I mean, I know nothing about that, or planning a 2-year-old's party, and I don't know these kids, you know, and we get to know each other. Right. And we send the mom out for a day at the spa. And I know how hard these moms work, and it's so hard. So I tell them, listen, no matter what you do, I got this, and I take over for them. We've had a blast with it.
Well, you know, I think it makes great TV too, Harry, and even some of the stuff that your staff throws at you where you have to try different things.
Right, we have a segment called Harry Tries, and again, it's very hard to believe this because nobody thinks that it's really a surprise. Very few things are a true surprise in the entertainment business on national television. But I can't tell you enough, this is really is a surprise. My producers plan these things for me to try, like riding a mechanical bull, or they have people from Cirque du Soleil, or they have an NBA star that's going to teach me how to dunk a basketball. They're all things that I have no idea how to do. I like having fun and making a fool out of myself, and this is a good venue for that because every single time they do it, I'm like, oh crap, man, I got to do what? Like they had a balance beam, and Laurie Hernandez, the world famous gymnast, and I can't, you know, I can barely walk a straight line on the floor, much less on a balance beam. So I like that, and I think people can sense that it's real. Right. It really is real. I don't mind making a fool out of myself, and everybody just laughs together and has a good time.
Well, you know, and also as a musician, and we are in Music City, I love the stuff you do when musicians come on, like when you had Keith Urban on, and so many people that you've had on and played music with.
It's fun.
And you know, and you and your band are to the level to where you're able to just call out the key or throw a chart and they play behind you.
They're pretty good. You know, we don't get musicians like Keith all the time, but we get people who, like, for example, don't tell Terrence Howard I told you this, but he's an okay guitar player. He's not Keith Urban, but he wanted to play, and we were talking and having, and you can see, like, if I'm in my host chair and you're the guest, almost invariably, if the guest is in show business, you can see something occurring to them during the interview, like, this feels different. Yeah. So Terrence Howard wants to talk about, you know, astrophysics. Yeah. We'll talk about it. And you can see, wow, this is, and then he says, man, I kind of feel like playing a little music. I said, well, let's play. Nobody knew we were going to do it. We didn't plan on it, but he starts playing and my band comes in. I live for that stuff. I live for those moments. And sometimes they're great and sometimes they're okay, but you know, you're working with such, like when Keith came on, he's like, let's play. I say, okay, let's play with my band. And we just played, and you have great musicians like Keith, great musicians like the guys in my band, and we have a good time.
So going into season 2, which is coming up pretty soon in September 12th, what do you see on it, Harry? Are you going to be adding in more music? I mean, obviously, the level of guests that you're bringing on is amazing. Like I said before when we were talking off camera, it feels like we're watching you from your living room.
That's great. That's what I want. I want people to feel like they're having a really sort of personal experience. And I ask people all the time, what would y'all like to see on the show? Probably the most common answer I get is, we want to see more of your wife. We want to see Jill. Jill loves to cook. You know, you can tell immediately when you see us together that she's on the highest rung on the ladder in our house. And I think they like to see my kids.
Right.
They like to see, daughters. They love that, which is an honor to me. You know, I didn't start this out saying I'm going to do a show and have my kids and my wife, but they've come on and people say, oh, we like that. They like music. They like, you know what, someone said to me, they said, we like it when you go into the audience and meet people. I love doing that. In fact,
I liked it when you made up the songs also with people's names.
It's fun.
Because you just never knew, and it's really fun when you get like an odd name.
Tell me about it. Yeah. try writing a song about Ingvar, I think her name was.
I think it was Ingvar.
Why didn't I pick Jane? You know?
Well, you know, and I think that's a great thing too that a lot of our audience may not know, Harry, is that you know, when you go out in the audience too, you know, with some shows, and I'm not naming names, but they will go out and they'll find a person. Right. And they'll have a mark that you walk out to. With you go out and it's really impromptu. I mean, just like jazz music.
It is, and I have no problem with people that are, I mean, sometimes there might be somebody with an amazing story that my producers say, that lady over there has a great story. That does happen. But there's nothing that says I can't go anywhere in the audience, and I do. And we found like they're people, man. They're like us,
right.
And you pass them on the street and you have no reason to talk to these people because you don't know them. But in that context, you say, hey, I'm Harry, what's your name? And before you know it, you have a conversation going. And that's something I really like to see on TV. It's not scripted, it's not plants, We had a person on the show one time when I went up to this woman. I said, what's your name? She said, I'm so-and-so, and I'm in New York. I said, why are you here? She said, I'm here for a funeral. Now, that's not the best answer for daytime television. And I said, I gave her a hug. I said, listen, thanks for coming, and thanks for spending the day with me. I said, I'm going to say a prayer for you, and I hope you get through this tough time, but we're going to have a lot of fun right now. Are you ready to have a little fun? And it's not rocket science. It's just, talk to people and listen to people, and it's just been such an incredible experience.
Well, and it's a real connection, and I think it shows.
Oh, that's nice.
So I've got to ask you, as award-winning musician and everything else, and with so many great albums, and the tour that you were on last year, are you working on a new album? Is there going to be another tour down the road, or really are you totally focused on Harry right now?
Well, I'm focused on Harry, but I don't know what the record's going to be, but I'll get back in the studio at some point, and then I think we'll probably tour, because I probably play more music on this show than I do when I'm on tour, because we play every day, all day, but it's not a tour.
Right.
So I miss coming to Nashville. I miss coming to these cities and playing. So I think next summer we'll probably go out on the road.
Well, and your band is so tight.
Man, they unbelievable.
They
can do anything.
Just A-level musicians.
Yeah, they're the best in the business.
And I don't think usually people get to see that in any kind of show.
Well, it's daytime television.
Right.
When's the last time you turned on daytime television, you saw 10, 11 musicians actually playing instruments?
Right.
And I think there's a subtext to that too. When young kids watch TV, they see that stuff. And there might be a young kid saying, oh, that's what happens if I practice my trumpet. Or that's what happens if I practice my guitar. Nothing against DJs. I think DJs are great. I love it. But like one of my trombone players, Dion Tucker, he's from Orlando. He's African American. He said, I love being on the show. I said, why do you like it so much? He says, because I'm a black man in America playing a trombone on a nationally syndicated TV show. And there's some young African American boy out there or girl out there who's looking up to me saying that could be me. And that's very powerful. So we need to keep that going. That was the first request I had with my show. I said, I have to have my band. And it's expensive to have a big band on TV. But
plus, it's more work on you for doing all the charts and
it's a lot of work, but you know what? I think it's important. I think it's good, and I think it subtly reminds people that there is value in craftsmanship too. There is value in getting in a practice room and learning your craft, and my musicians are manifestations of that. And I hear from kids all the time, and parents, they say, oh wow, you're really playing instruments, and we think it's important.
I think it's very important. It's an incredible role model.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
Once again, Harry is going to be starting the second season, which will be September 12th, Fox 17, weekdays at 3 p.m. And I'd like to thank my guest, Harry Connick Jr., for coming on the Fox 17 Rock and Review.